here I come to the point, which is what? What would have been, and this is a great debate also in Freud. You know, it's a very interesting, crucial meta-psychological debate. We have all these Freudian forms of Verneinung, Verwerfung, Isolierung. They are all forms of, in a formal sense, negativity. But is there a zero-level negativity? Some people claim, and I don't buy that, but it's a convincing theory, it's that it's so-called Ausstoßung. You know, this idea that ego, at the most elementary level, in order to emerge as opposed to non-ego, it's not simply I say, here am I ego, out there is non-ego, it's also Ausstoßung. I have to throw out part of myself. It's a very nice dialectical thought that it's not just, again, a question of drawing the line of separation. To be able to draw this line, this external line between me and not me, has also, I have to lose part of myself. So to put it in very Hegelian speculative terms, the external limitation between what is me and not me must at the same time be an internal limitation. It's not this. I think, and here comes the beauty, that the zero level of negativity, which is exactly the fundamental form of repetition, is its opposite. It's not that you negate something, but that you get excessively stuck onto something. Like this is, for Freud, for example, the fundamental paradox of Trieb, drive, and compulsion to repeat, Wiederholungszwang. This is even, I'm tempted to claim, Freud's elementary form even, if not theory of metaphysics. We have a human animal, and animals, insofar as they are animal, okay, now I enter very problematic waters, I'm well aware of, maybe exposing myself to Derrida and criticism of, but what the hell, why not? No, of referring to oversimplified opposition between animal and man. But it has certain pedagogic we get certain pedagogic profit from it, so why not? So my point is simply this one, that it's not that, as we usually say, animals are stupid, stuck onto their object, while we men are creatively dynamic, you jump from here to there. No, even I spoke with some cognitivists who were doing very simple experiments with apes and so on, and told me, no, the immediate behavioral distinction is that men get much more stuck, like my good friend Guven Giselder, sorry, from Duke, now he moved elsewhere. He's incidentally a Turk, and you know we associate Turkey with Muslim fundamentalism, and he told me he had a wonderful experience. He came from backward Turkey to United States. Then he put there his children to school, no? And he is a normal secular Turk. No? And his children a week later came home and said, "Father, Jesus loves me," and so on. Learned to school. Then the child told me, "Why didn't you baptize me?" The teacher told me, "I will burn in hell, blah, blah." Okay, at the end he decided that he prefers somehow the primitive Muslim fundamentalist Turkey, when you can survive without all this, at least compared to, you know, Duke is an island. All around is Jesse Helm's country, you know. Okay, let me go on. So he told me that he made a very stupid experiment with monkey and love object. You present to a monkey a preferable love object, a beautiful feminine ape, no? And the monkey, and then another inferior, not so attractive. The monkey tries with the first one. If it doesn't go, okay, fuck it. Life is life, you move to the second one. While with humans, it's much more complex. We have this fixation to an, as it were, to an impossible object. And this is where repetition originates. When it's precisely this immobilization, you know, things flow, and then all of a sudden it is, as it were, you get stuck onto something. You are not ready to give it away. And then you get caught in this circle. So here, I think that we should reread Heidegger. There is an extremely interesting passage in Holzwege. Heidegger, the Spruch von, is it das Spruch or der Spruch? This is my limit of der Spruch. Okay, no, I was really just testing you, I knew it. Von Anaximander, which is very mysterious because Heidegger there, in a way, says something quite surprising, which, as it were, problematizes his entire notion of historicity, not historicism, Geschichtlichkeit. Heidegger considers there the possibility that an entity, ein Seiendes, I quote, may even insist, bestehen, upon its while solely to remain more present in the sense of perduring, beständigen. That which lingers, persists, beharrt in its presence. In this way, it extricates itself from its transitory while as a substantive. I didn't translate this, don't ask me why. It strikes the willful pose of persistence, no longer concerning itself with whatever else is present. It stiffens, as if this were the only way to linger, and aims solely for continuance and subsistence. So things flow, now I interpret Heidegger, they follow their usual course of incessant change, and then all of a sudden something gets stuck, interrupts the flow. And this what, to use the term introduced by Judith Butler, this excessive attachment to a particular Seiendes. Here I disagree with Heidegger because Heidegger thinks as if, like, I'm consciously evil here, like, that old creep Yoda says in Star Wars, Yoda is worse than E.T. When I see Yoda in Star Wars, I became a Nazi. Where are my big boots to squash that stupid guy? Because he has this, don't get attached to particular beings. But I claim our own metaphysical freedom is grounded in such an excessive attachment. Because Heidegger says very well, no longer concerning itself with whatever else is present. That is to say, for us humans, you get my point, to acquire this distance of negativity, I'm not this, the only way for us to get unstuck from reality, to acquire a distance from reality, is to get excessively stuck onto a totally particular contingent element. So that in a way, in this way, and this is the Freudian way, one can generate negativity out of positivity. One just accelerates, or rather pushes to excess positivity, in the sense of, here things are here, but I got stuck to this one. And by this, everything else is destabilized, I acquired. So I like this idea of how the secret of negativity is this, being stuck onto something like, and Hegel, we may say he comes sometimes even close to it. For example, when he says something very nice, when he speaks about abstract freedom of subjectivity, he says that the only way for the subject to signal its autonomy, its detachment from all empirical objects, is to pick out one particular thing and stake absolutely everything on it. This meaningless pride. When you say, I don't know, you can beat me, you can burn my house, whatever you want, but that, like, let's call it the Michael Kohlhaas symptom, but that, the way you treated my horse up, I'm ready to, you see, Michael Kohlhaas would be a nice example. Do whatever you want, but don't touch my two horses. I'm absolutely stuck there, and as you know, Kohlhaas is ready then to, he does practically destroys half Germany in civil war, just that. But here, the object doesn't matter. As Freud himself says very clearly that the object of trip drive even if it's an unconditional fixation, it's ultimately indifferent. What precisely in its indifference, in the indifference of the object, the message gets through that what matters is not the object, but my arbitrary fixation, my free will itself. So, again, it's through this fixation I try to reach again and again this excessive moment that negativity and repetition emerges. And you were kind enough to announce a little bit of PR propaganda. My forthcoming book, which is Total Madness, it will be, now it looks a little bit over 1,100 printed pages on Hegel, where I precisely try to focus on all these elements of excessive fixation and at the same time excessive negativity. Like you have in Hegel the way in anthropology, first part of at the beginning of Philosophie des Geistes, when Hegel speaks about Verrücktheit, madness. It's Hegel at his Foucauldian best, where he says that the possibility of madness is structural. There is no human subjectivity without an ever permanent shadow of madness. So for Hegel, again, madness is not some, as he puts it very clearly, some accidental deviation, but it's, he says in a beautiful Foucauldian way that although this doesn't mean that we all should be mad, but being human presupposes the possibility of madness, structural possibility, and the fight against it. Then we have many other moments of this. For example, the necessity of war, the most problematic Hegel for some people. But here we can see how wrong are those who think that Hegel brings at the end some kind of reconciliation. No, Hegelian reconciliation is not everything is reunited in some larger harmonious synthesis. Reconciliation is for Hegel precisely reconciliation with the irrational madness of the world. Remember clearly where Hegel introduces in the Phänomenologie des Geistes the very term Versöhnung. At the end, just before religion enters, at the end of that chapter where he deals with the beautiful soul and so on, that is to say with the consciousness, or rather form of subjectivity which judges, compares, pardons, and so on. And then he says, you have, in a total surrender, you have to abandon every position of judging. Reconciliation is not the subject swallows the object. Reconciliation is precisely you accept the radical otherness.